Hello, everybody. It's been a long while. This is Lori with Deep Within. I think it's been a couple of months that I haven't been able to really get with you all and, continue the education courses that I had started. It's been a while. Like I said, I had to go and have some surgery, but everything came out well. I've had some different ideas and business tactics that I'm actually trying to grow. So there's been a lot, but I haven't forgotten all of you guys, and I love that I was getting some text as well as some emails stating, "Hey, what happened to your podcast? We haven't heard from you." So I decided, you know what? It is time to come back to one of my loves, which is coaching. If some of you that this is the first time that you're hearing me, I am the actual owner of Deep Within, and I am a certified coach that specializes in career growth as well as in relationships. And talking about relationships, this podcast is what we're going to talk about today is, of course, relationships, emotions, and what actually makes us tick. And today we're going to dive into something that kind of shapes how we actually love, how we actually connect, and how we actually communicate with others, whether it's a significant other or if it's maybe at work or maybe it's even with a relative, a friend, and those are what we call attachment styles. I have been really reading into attachment styles, specializing in them. And if this is the first time that you guys have actually heard of attachment styles, there is a free online attachment style. If you're interested in receiving that, if you could subscribe here and then give me a little heart, and I will send you the link directly to you. Now, what are attachment styles? Well, I'm going to put it simply put because when you look into the internet, it has so much information. But they're actually patterns of how we actually relate to others, especially when it comes to close relationships. Okay. They actually start forming when we're little, when we're starting our childhood, and they're actually based about how our caregivers or the people that are around us, how they responded to us, which is what makes attachment styles. Now, there's four main attachment styles, and I'll give you a little bit of what I am, okay? And it's so funny because mine is the most complicated one, but that's okay. We're working on every day on that. But the first attachment style is actually the secure attachment style. Now, everybody should be on a secure attachment style, but you know what? This is real life. This is me. I'm not even in a secure attachment style, believe it or not. I am working on it though, but unfortunately, I'm not there yet. But with the secure attachment style, what that is that people with secure attachment style, they actually feel comfortable with closeness and trust. Okay, they can depend on others. They're okay in depending on others, and they let others depend on them. They don't have this ultimate fear. They handle conflicts really well, and they communicate openly. You can actually think of this attachment style as kind of being the healthiest balance of attachment styles. But like I said, I can teeter totter between secure and dismissive, which we'll go into that. Now, the next attachment style is actually the anxious attachment style that I wanted to talk about. Now, what this anxious attachment style is you might crave that closeness with somebody, but then you also worry about being abandoned by them. Okay? And you might be the type of person, if you find yourself that you're overthinking texts, that you're constantly seeking reassurance, if you just feel insecure, that your partner seems a little bit distant, it's like if it's your heart is always asking, do they really care about me? Are they thinking about me? That's your anxious attachment style. And these are just kind of some examples, okay? Then we have the avoidant attachment style. This one actually always gets everybody always talks about, ooh, he's avoidant or she's avoidant. Watch out. Well, let me tell you why. Because the avoidant folks, the avoidant attachment style, They value independency. They love to be independent. And they at times pull away when things get a little too close or a little bit too intimate. Okay. They often struggle to express their emotions. And they might keep their partners like at arm's length, like I love you, but yeah, we're not going to get that close. And it's funny because this attachment style, it's not that they don't care, it's just that, believe it or not, closeness and intimacy, it literally feels so overwhelming for them. I can't really understand that because I love to love and I love to hug and I love showing, those type of gestures. So it's very hard for me to understand avoidant. Then we have the last one, which is the fearful avoidant, which is also called the disorganized one, attachment style. Now, this one is what I tested for. And I actually am disorganized, which is a mixture of the two. This mixes both the anxious and it mixes the avoidant tendencies. So we might want closeness, but then we also fear it. So it's like a push and pull thing. It leads to this type of patterns in our relationships. And people with this type of style, they often have a history of trauma or inconsistent caregiving. And we did talk a little bit about that in my personal life back in the different podcasts and recordings that I have done of what made me like this. Now, like I said, I am constantly working at that. Now, here's the thing. Learning and knowing about your attachment style isn't about labeling yourself. Okay, let's get that out of the way. What it is, though, and what it's helped me is to understand myself and it helps me to spot my patterns. Knowing this, it helps me to improve communication and it helps me to create healthier relationships. Now, the reason why I wanted to go into this is because in my coaching, I came across a scenario where we had a gentleman in his 50s who actually came in and he did the attachment style test and he came out mostly anxious. But after talking with him and talking to his significant other, he did test anxious attachment style, but he had avoidant tendencies. So you can have a mixture of a lot. Now, he does not like showing emotions, okay? And he feels that if he shows emotions that he's weak, okay? That he's consider he doesn't like vulnerability because it feels like, oh no, I can't show people, that I'm this lovey-dovey guy because then I'm going to be weak. That was his way of thinking. So then we have his partner who is opposite. She loves intimacy, she loves to show emotions. And there was a time where she just got fed up and with the relationship because she just knows exactly what she needed. And she knew that she needed that reassurance. She knew that she needed affirmation, and that was just her love language. And now, I remember that the female had stated that she was just up to here with this relationship. And she says, I just cannot take this anymore. So he asked, because he was going through a lot during the time he lost his job, he had to move in with family, he was almost losing, his car. It was a lot going on. But she was just like, I've had it, I have had it. So he says, you know what, can you please just give me a month? I just want a month in order to like just reset, get myself together. Let me take care of all of these things. Let me take care of all this. And I know the relationship will, I'll handle the relationship. I'll handle this. Now, this is the kicker, guys. The anxious avoidant, they love space. So when he asked for this month off, it probably was like, whew, this is great. I don't have to hear from her. I don't have to feel pressure. I can put my thoughts together. But what many don't understand or they miscalculate is that maybe they're feeling this like, oh, I have a month. But what they don't realize is that the partner is not the same attachment style as they are. So then what happens? Well, to him, he thought that the month would be like, oh, since he was like being avoidant passive, he thought, oh, okay, good. I have a month, I get to reset. Okay. He was thinking that she would calm down, she would soften up, she would miss him, she'd eventually reach out, eventually because they weren't talking for that month. that she'd give him the emotional safety that he was so used to, that she would forget the intensity of the fights that they were having, and that she would come back warmer. So basically, he thought, okay, distance would help him and it would help her. But he assumed wrong because he thought that maybe by doing this month, they're both going to calm down and the distance would be good for them. And that he thought, okay, things would cool down. It would allow him to avoid, responsibility, make him, less angry, maybe less her angry, and it would put him back into his comfort zone. Basically, resetting the dynamic. Okay, it helped him feel safe with confrontation. He thought, okay, she'll soften up, no big deal, no problem. Now, what actually happened, which I find so interesting, the month didn't calm her. Okay, it didn't calm her. This is what happened. It clarified her. She wasn't angry. She wasn't emotional. She wasn't chasing. Basically, she was just done with the crumbs. And she started to realize that his inconsistencies just aren't acceptable anymore. I mean, he was passive and he just wouldn't show up. Um, she started noticing friends giving her more attention than what her man was giving her. She started to not feel attracted to him as much anymore. She just got tired of like thinking, I have to keep reminding him to be intimate and then be emotional for me. She thought, no, she realized like I don't need to do that. She realized, gosh, do I really want to be with him? I mean, is he really useful? Is he really reliable? Is he really present? Basically, she was starting to realize, I deserve more than the bare minimum. This is ridiculous. And most importantly, during that month period, she realized, you know what? I don't need him. I chose him, but I don't need him. And that actually is more dangerous to someone who's an avoidant anxious, where he needs his month and he thought it was going to go great, but it kind of backfired because now what was happening is the gap between them, what he thought was going to happen or what was expected versus the reality of what happened, is that he expected like, oh, you know what, she'll calm down and she'll come back. But actually what happened is that she actually got quiet and she got stronger. What he expected was, oh, a month will blow over the problems. No problem. But during that month, it exposed actually all the problems. He expected, oh, she'll miss me and she'll soften up. No problem. But what happened to her? She detached and she raised actually her standards. He expected this month of no talking, no contact. Oh, she'll forget. But actually, she woke up. And yes, he thinks like, oh my gosh, you know what? She's pulling away. And the silence later on, after the third week, the fourth week of not speaking, no contact, he started getting nervous. And he started getting nervous because now her silence, she was always the one that was making the relationship work, and it became so unbalanced. But with this silence that he asked for, he started later realizing that she was not begging him anymore. She wasn't settling anymore. She was not being emotionally dependent on him. She wasn't chasing him anymore because she would text him and call him all the time. She actually started to reclaim her power. She started living her life and her energy actually shifted. And that, he told me that that actually scared him more than an argument would ever have scared him. Because those that are anxious with avoidant tendencies, they don't get scared of anger. They get scared when you're indifferent. So now that she was giving him neutral, calm, detached energy, he literally said he was feeling it in his chest. Because that month, he thought it was going to fix him, but it didn't fix him. What happened is it actually fixed her. So it actually backfired. She started to learn what she really wanted, what she wasn't going to tolerate. She really realized that she didn't need him. She realized that her life actually kept moving. Other men started showing up for her better. She wasn't emotionally available for him anymore. The inconsistency that he had, it just wasn't attractive, and that she just finally realized, wow, you know what? I actually deserve more. And let me tell you guys, he felt the difference. He felt the difference. So his month didn't really cool things off. It actually put the spotlight on his flaws. And it helped her to become emotionally clearer, emotionally stronger, and basically emotionally done with this BS. Basically. So it's kind of funny that how one person with one attachment style may think, oh, this is nice. I'm having no contact, no nothing, no pressure, no nothing, and thinking that she's feeling the same thing, but it actually backfired. So with this podcast, what I wanted to say is communication is the key, guys. Whether you are avoidant, whether you're anxious, whether you're secure, whether you're dismissive, communication is the key. How important communication is. Don't be afraid to talk to each other. Don't be afraid of conflict. Talk, talk, talk. We are mostly talking about relationships when it comes with a intimate relationship. So with that said, guys, I found that very, very fascinating. That was one of the coaching that I had done that really opened up my eyes to really see the importance of talking, because guess what? You can lose somebody. You can lose somebody that you really love and that you really want to be with because you're thinking that you're taking this break and you're resetting, and it actually backfires. So with this said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please subscribe if you can. I'm going to try and do this at least once every 2 weeks. Get something out there that I really, really appreciate, that I really found fascinating, that I didn't know, and I want to share with you all. Or you can also email me any kind of topics that you guys want to talk about at www.deep-within.com or at gmail.com. You guys can go ahead and send me an email, or go ahead and send me through YouTube. If you guys are interested in that free attachment stuff, please subscribe, give me a little heart, and I will send it directly to you. Until next time, guys, bye.